This is the Gothic Beach Bum. I'm back. There was an incredibly long wait for the Necromancer, but I am in fact here and alive. So, where have I been? Well, to put it simply, after my last video, I just realized that I needed a break because I was making a video every day, at least one video. In fact, there's a few days where I made a couple of videos. But I was making a video every day for 75 days straight. And, that's a lot of time to just think about exactly the same thing, trying to be productive. So I took a break this last week. I didn't make the creative writing video. And in fact, that's the only thing I did was post the new post on Patreon, and it's going to go until next week, actually. Or I guess I should gesture with this hand since you can't see the other one on TV. So yeah, the creative writing part 3 is actually out on Patreon. The voting will be up until the 25th. I'll get the part 2 video out in the next day or so, and then when part 4 goes up, I'll put out part 3 on YouTube. Fun fact, they're still alive. Spoiler alert, I don't know. Whatever, right? So I also put up a Halloween tree. If you didn't notice, this was fun. I have never had my own personal Christmas tree before, so this is cool. The entire thing was actually fairly cheap, except for these little ghost beads. Those were incredibly expensive. I got them at Michael's. It was like $20 for a 6-foot strand. And man, they set me back. I actually got enough of them for a 6-foot tree, but I realized that I wasn't gonna be able to fit a 6-foot tree right here behind me without having some real problems of just constantly hitting it. Also, I had mentioned in my last video that weight loss has been a priority for me. I mean, you know, I am a big fat guy after all. And in the last month, since I went to the doctor Monday last week, so in the last month, as of Monday, I had lost another 10 pounds, putting me down 40, 30, 40 for the year, one of those numbers. Either way, it's a decent number, and it feels like it's on track pretty well. I have been doing some amount of exercise, and if you're wondering what I exercise with, I literally exercise with a mace. I have this by my computer because whenever I am bored at work, because I work from home a lot, whenever I am bored and I don't have anything to do right that very second, and I've got, you know, like 10 or 15 minutes until a meeting, I'll just lift a little bit of, like, I'll lift it like it's a dumbbell or something. If you're actually looking for an interesting workout, go look up workouts for these. They're pretty fun. Good for your core, amongst other things. So that's a lot of what I've been doing. Ow. Ow. The mace fell down on my knee, and then it fell down on my foot. That was not pleasant. Okay. Anyway. Also, I have decided that I am going to really dig into my board game. And I spent, well, what time is it now? It is 7:30 for me right now, and I spent the last, I don't know how many hours, 4 or 5, about 5, creating one page of documentation because I'm just really slow. I also had to go over all of my notebooks and stuff. There was a lot of it, and one of the notebooks just wasn't even relevant. So that's also a thing. Also, I just realized I should probably look into the camera here and not my face there. Because you're here, and I'm there. So, things for my board game will be coming out soon. Very soon. Like I said, I have page 1 of the rules sat down. There will be... Well, it'll be a lot easier to explain everything about the game once I have that up and running. And once I have that up and running, I'm going to see about trying to find people to playtest with. There are actually a few board gaming groups around me. There's also a good wargaming place nearby. Since my game is kind of a mix between a war game and a tabletop game, that kind of just works out. I am including in my rules the structure that I want for the cards as well, even though I haven't actually sat down to make any of the card abilities or anything like that. I know I haven't really talked about this. I mentioned it briefly that in a couple of previous videos that it needed another mechanic, and I figured out what it was. Well, the mechanic was a card-based mechanic. It was recommended to me by multiple different game developers who have published games that have done well. So I trust their advice, and that's what I'm going to work on. As like the filler mechanic, well, not even a filler mechanic. It's the base form of it needed more, and that is basically what the more is. I'm also going to work on it as though I have not necessarily an unlimited budget, but an unlimited feature set that I can work with, and I will add and remove things as necessary. I have actually done so before. There, at one point in time, was a mechanic where there was like, you had like 6 players and a kraken in the middle of the field, and it wasn't as cool as it sounds. Let's just put it that way. It didn't really work with the actual combat system, or rather, it was a little clunky whenever compared to the actual overall objective of the game. The objective, of course, being to be the last player standing, I guess. I haven't quite gotten to a full realized objective, but basically it's going to be either win by elimination or through a completion of objectives. I haven't really ironed out all of the objectives yet, but that hasn't really been the... Well, that was never really the focus on developing this game in the first place, was the objectives, because that was I needed to get the combat system down, because that's the main thing that people are going to interact with. And so, after I got the unit combat down, at least for like individual movements and attacks and stuff like that, and how players interact with each other for attack and defense, like I got all that figured out. The units need some kind of special abilities, because they just do. Realistically, they just do. And after those special abilities are ironed out, then it'll be much more ready for testing. I have 2 boards. I have one board that's a quick prototyping board. It's actually got it's actually a better board, because it's just jam-packed in there, real close, real tight quarters. You can't really... There's not a whole lot of uh, what do you, I don't know, there's not a whole lot of just room to, like, try and maneuver around stuff. You're forced into a quick confrontation because it's for testing. It's not meant to be for the larger tactical game of what the game is meant to be. So that prototype also has more pieces in it, and I'm gonna have to actually make more prototype pieces at some point. It'll be a while before that happens. Right now, what I'm working on is the documentation for the rule set. This way I can just change it on the fly. I will have an actual set of rules in a digital version rather than just a bunch of scribbles in a few notebooks, and rather than a bunch of things that are just in my head. I don't know. This is getting rambly, but basically that's going to be my main focus coming back. So, game development? Question mark? I mean, I guess technically it is game development, because, you know, I am developing a game. I just don't know how developy it is, and I also doubt that most people would really think of that as game development unless they themselves are game developers, because never underestimate the ability for a regular person to just discount the existence or complexity of a board game. That's just a fact. I will show you a picture of the setup example for how you place your starter tiles in the game. So, enjoy. I probably missed an opportunity here to scribble on the screen like John Madden, but for the entire two of you who get that joke, I probably won't, because I don't want to edit it tonight. I will post this page from my rulebook on Patreon. This is the very start of getting this ironed out, and you will see more about this game in the future. I don't even have a name for it yet, but there's a lot of interesting things that I think you'll find about it. Most notably the aspect of the teams, because you saw a bunch of, like, dumb names that I used as placeholders. There's a reason for that. It's basically because teams can consist of anything, and there's going to be more than a few different character units. There's also going to be more than a few commanders that you can have, and I'm using commander as a placeholder name. I was initially calling them kings, and then it was dragons, and then it was something else. Now it's commanders. I don't know. The function is going to be similar to a king unit in chess, where if it dies, your team automatically loses. However, it also, unlike a king in chess, is a very powerful piece, because you're not meant to lose that way, and if you do lose that way, it's because you just get, like, hard outplayed. That's the reality of it. Also, fun fact, I have never won a match at my own board game. I am, in fact, bad at my own game. But the game itself is fun. It is fun to play. It is a mix of various mechanics that I just really felt like would go well together. And it's just a mishmash of random crap that I pulled out of my head. So we'll see how it goes. So this has been the Gothic Beach Film. You know, I just realized I need a new intro, or a new outro. Since I'm not doing daily content anymore, I need a new outro. What should we do? What should our new outro be? I'm literally thinking this up on the fly. So, oh, I know. How about this? This has been the Gothic Beach Bum. No. No, I like literally lost the plot halfway through that. Well, whatever. This has been the Gothic Beach Bum. I will be back. I'll be back. Yeah, not gonna use that one. But I'll be back, and I will probably fumble over my words a lot less in the next video. I don't know. This is just a talkie video, and there's probably like maybe 2 of you still around at this point, because I've just been going on and saying the same thing repeatedly for the last 5 minutes. I'm a little tired, but I do have a big chunk of free time coming up, because I'm going to have a vacation wherein I'm not actually leaving the city. I just simply always take a vacation on the week of Halloween, if it is at all humanly possible. There are a lot of reasons for that, and I will do a video about that at the time. I don't know if y'all actually care about getting to know me or not, but that's what that video is going to be all about. And if y'all in the comments tell me that you don't want to know anything about me and you just want me to make this board game, or if you hate me for stopping magic, or if you just want me to write more crappy stories, yeah, tell me that too. That's either way, that's fine. I'll be back next time. So, yeah, I'm out. Also, Patreon. If you want to see the actual page, go Patreon. Woo, Patreon.